we've been talking about big hits for, a couple weeks now. Trevor gave us one. Charlie gave us one. And, we've talked about, stringing hits together, and we did that a couple different innings, right? And that's going to create action. And if we get multiple hits in an inning and then one big one, it's going to be a 2, a 3, or a 4-run inning. And that's what happened tonight. So, we worked it to Trevor, and then Trevor got a big hit, against their lefty. Then the ninth, Cargo led off with a hit. Charlie got a big hit, a homer, and then DJ got a big hit, another homer. So, homers obviously are, they're hard to come by, but when you get them, they're really uplifting. But, I like the 3-run inning earlier in the game. Those are the type of innings that you like.
DJ, usually homers aren't his thing, but came up with some big at-bats for you, and he's done that throughout his career.
Yeah, he got a 3-hit game tonight and 2 homers. I'm happy for DJ. He's been battling hard, and he's just been hovering around 310, 315. He got up to 320, so he's doing his thing. We've talked about the guys at the top of the order, are getting their hits, and it was good to see Trevor get a big hit tonight, and hopefully, that can jumpstart him a little bit moving forward.
Holland's struggles continued a little bit tonight. You had McGee ready. What did you see out of Holland first?
Well, I think, I like the fact that, the first hitter, got 2 fastballs by Albies, and then he hung a breaking ball. And then the same thing with Adams, got ahead and then just didn't quite finish him with a good slider. So, I think we have to address the slider a little bit and make sure that, we get the right rotation, the good spin on it. See if Greg has anything to say about the slider. But the velocity's fine. It's just the location of the slider, I think, is the problem here, and we got to get to the bottom of it. The slider to Hosmer the other night was intended to be down away, and he threw it up and in. So I think that's the issue here, is the slider, which is a key pitch for him.
Is that something that you can get to the bottom of in 9th innings?
Yeah, this guy's. We'll talk about it, but we got to make sure that there's not other things going on. But we feel pretty confident that physically Greg is good. We've talked about that the last few days, right? You guys have asked that, but we'll get some things straightened out.
I guess in a case like that, though, it is good to have somebody who's closed a few games like McGee to come in and get what you
we've said all along that, it's going to take eight guys out of our pen. We've said that from day one. You don't rely on one guy. If Russin didn't do his job, if Nishak didn't do his job, we wouldn't be in that position, right? It would be a completely different game. So collectively, they all have to do it. This is a situation where on down the line, everybody has to do their job for us to win. And tonight, Jake picked up Greg. Greg has picked up the team so often this year that, we expect that to continue. He's just going through a rough patch right now.
What did you think about Freeland tonight? He did pretty well then. That one inning got nicked for a couple of runs.
Yeah, they strung some hits together in the 6th, but Kyle gave up a number of hits, but limited the damage. That's what I liked. They got 10 hits and just got the 4 runs, and I'm sure he's bummed out about the 2 runs in the 6th because he had 2 outs with a guy in first, and then Albies got the hit. Albies turned into a pretty good player here in the second half. We're seeing that before our eyes. Just in the series that we saw in Denver and in this series here, just 2 games. They've talked about this kid for a while now, and you can see why. He's a young player with a great deal of potential, and he's showing it. So, but as far as Kyle, again, I think he minimized the damage for the most part. With the 10 hits and I think a walk or 2. But that showed his grit, and his guile to maneuver out of some jams. But his stuff was good. Some early part of the game, I think he had a really good 5th inning, right, where he punched out Freeman, punched out Markakis. Had a good inning there, good stuff. So, overall, he kept us in the game, which is, what you always want. But if you ask Kyle, he'd probably want a little bit better.